Hey, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to the Efficiency Bitch podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Leone. This podcast is dedicated to all the women out there who are aspiring to have a career while raising a family. And bitch? Well, that's more than a name and even an attitude. We use it as an acronym. It's for bank, inbox, time, connection, and harmony. Each episode is labeled according to the correct topic so that you can efficiently find the topic that you're looking for. I'm here to tell you, you can have your cake and eat it too. The trick is finding efficient ways to get through the have-tos so that you can make room for your best life. I can show you how. Let's get started. Hey, welcome to the Efficiency Bitch podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Leone. I am so happy that you're here today. If this is your first time, welcome to the Beehive. If you've been around a while, welcome back. I am really excited about today's episode. So you may or may not know the origin of the phrase efficiency bitch. Well, I'll give you the abridged version. When I was 18, I was home from university for the very first time, and my parents were having a tailgate football party. And my mom is the kind of woman who loves to throw parties. She's very good at it. And I was in the kitchen there, kind of in the way, not helping, not being super supportive. And apparently, at least she says, I moved some things in the kitchen. And she yelled at me, Melissa, get back here. And I was like, oh, come on. What did I do? And she said, I have a system, a really efficient system. I'm trying to get this stuff done. You need to get out of the way. If you can't respect it, you need to leave. And I whipped around in all my glory of 18 years old and said, you don't have to be such an efficiency bitch. And as you can imagine, that got some eyeballs from her. She didn't have time to yell at me, though, fortunately for me, because her friends were on their way over. And so what ended up happening was about a day passed before she ever had the chance to talk to me about it. And it turned into a term of endearment between the two of us. We laughed about it for a while, mine a little nervous laughter, but eventually we started really connecting over the phrase efficiency bitch. And over the years, my sister and my mom and I have used that word for love and admiration of each other on all kinds of things. And we try to out-EB each other in different things like who sent out the Christmas cards first, or different systems or hacks that we've done around the house. So the word is rooted in love and trust and efficiency, but it's also rooted in party planning. And my guest today has created a software called Party Trick, and it is the hack for party planning. And it's for everybody. So it's not for professional party planners. It's for anybody listening to this who has kids or maybe puts on holiday events. If you host Thanksgiving or Christmas or Hanukkah, or you have birthday parties or soccer parties or anything that you may have going on in your life, this software will change your life. And Virginia herself just has an incredible story, incredible routines and habits that she has set up to make herself use her time in the most advantageous way. Time is the great equalizer, and how you spend your time really says a lot about you. I'm really looking forward to you hearing this episode about how we automate, delegate, and eliminate. Let's jump on in. Virginia, hi, how are you? Welcome to the Efficiency Bitch podcast.
Hi, Melissa. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, I'm so excited that you're here. You have so much to share. So today's all about time, and we're going to dig into some of the ways that we manage our time, different things that we can do to help automate, eliminate, and delegate so that we can really live our best lives, right? How we use our time says so much about us, and it really helps us prioritize the things that are important. But before we get too far into that, how about you share a little bit about who you are, where you come from, how you do life?
Amazing. Awesome. So again, I'm Virginia and I live in Colorado. I live kind of between two places. I was previously running a couple companies in the event industry. So luxury and ultra luxury weddings, corporate events, social events, think $500,000, $5 million weddings in the Aspen area. And I've recently launched a tech company called Party Trick. And we are a digital platform that makes hosting super easy. Pick, click, host. We've got it handled. Everyone's got their little party trick.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
And so I'm really interested in this party trick because the efficiency bitch origin is a fight between my mom and I, where, she was trying to do some stuff for the party and get organized, and I was in the way. I'm really interested. How is party trick helping people save time in party planning?
Oh my goodness, so many ways. I'm going to give you an interesting stat because we're in this phase right now where we've been collecting a lot of user data, finding out how much time are we saving people. And we are saving people an average of at least 10 hours an event, which, I mean, people throw over 30 events a year, which, let me just say, if you're hearing that and you're like, what? I can tell you, everyone's got the birthdays, the holidays, the 4th of July, the Memorial Day, a March Madness viewing, whatever it might be. It really adds up. You're like, oh, well, I just had friends over. That's not an event. Well, it kind of is, right? Mm-hmm. So then you think about it, and our goal is to make those easy, but also save you time. And so we've surveyed a lot of people. How much time are we saving? I've had some people come back like 30 to 40 hours alone on some of like the kids' birthday parties that mommies go nuts and crazy over. I mean, I'm a mom, I have 2 kids. I can tell you, I wrote a party on here for my son's birthday, and it took me over 40 hours as a professional planner to plan a kid's birthday party, which is absurd. No one should spend that much time. I did that because I wanted it to be there available for you all.
Yeah.
But we want to save people time so they can actually enjoy the time connecting and not searching all over the internet and going down rabbit hole. Like, make it easy. That's what it's supposed to be, so we can enjoy in-person connection.
That's amazing. I love that. I host a lot of events myself, 3 kids, and there's always like school events or sporting events or birthday parties or Mother's Day coming up. I mean, there's always something to be thought of. So how does this system, it's a software as a service, right? So It's a subscription based. How does somebody use it? What's the basic form of the automation?
Amazing. So once you log in, set yourself up with an account, we have a guest account, which is kind of our free account, and a host account, which is $89 a year, $9 a month. We want this to be so affordable. Everyone has so many memberships. So you do one party or one event and it basically is covered for the year. That was our thought process. So once you're logged in on that host platform, we break our parties down. There are 3 core competencies that go into like an exceptional event, which is the plan. So, the food, the beverage, the music, how you're going to invite people, the design, what it's going to look like where are you sourcing things? How are you DIYing them? And then the execution. So our platform is set up so it's bite-sized. You can look at the plan, the design, and then the execution is actually an interactive component that once you put your details into the platform, you start getting a series of notifications that we've created for you. And it'll tell you, hey, you're 2 weeks out, you should be inviting people over. You're 10 days out, this is what you should be doing now. All the way down to, 4 hours before the event, go take a shower, take the garbage out, open up the air, get the windows open, get some fresh air. The goal is so our hostesses can go into their experience enjoying it, knowing they've crossed their T's, dotted their I's. That's really important. And so it's like, you don't have to think, and you don't lose that brain power of just having stuff sitting in your head, or you lose that checklist. So once you log in, you get all that in one, and you're good to go. We can also do those personalized ones. It's great.
That's awesome. If you're listening to this and you are on a PTO, like a parent teacher organization, I used to be the president of one, and the brain power that I would spend trying to remember if I did something or not on an event was huge. So this would be this sounds like ideal for every household anyway, particularly ones with small children who happen to be running.
Oh yeah.
Birthday parties are no small feat. I mean, my son he's 8, he just turned 8. He wanted to have 4 buddies over for his birthday. That's all he wanted. Yeah. And I thought, that's super easy. It's not super easy. There's a lot that goes into even just having 4 friends over.
So much. And, everyone would say that to me. Well, I'm not having, especially when I was doing these large weddings, what's a small wedding? It's 40 people, it's 80 people. I'm like, it's the exact same pieces that go into a 300 person. Like it's just the quantity of what you order is smaller. And the same thing about a dinner party for 4 people, a kid's birthday party, whether it's 4 or 20, candidly, it's the exact same plan, and it can take so much time. And honestly, I think about this, like Pinterest and TikTok and all the social media platforms, they cause us to spiral because we look at all these ideas. Yeah. It's almost nice to just know that it's curated and done for you, and you don't have to go search and, is this going to match that? There's no reason that you should be spending time doing that. Spend time having fun. Yeah.
I love it. That's great. And what a fun idea to help solve a problem that everybody has. I just think that's very clever. I'm looking forward to checking it out. So you're really busy. I know you said you had 2 kids, you've been running a lot of businesses. What are some of your personal favorite hacks for saving time? And would you share where you like to really hone in? I'm big on automation, delegation, and elimination, right? Getting rid of crap that doesn't belong to you, giving it to other people, hiring it out, giving it to your spouse or your kids. And then, of course, automating it. I like technology. I like robots. I like software as a service. So any of those types of things that you'd love to share?
Yeah, for sure. I am right there with you. I love maximizing my time and leveraging my time because it's our most precious and valuable resource. I think the number one thing is figuring out when do you do your best work at various times, right? So I'm a morning person. I wake up like at 3:30 almost every day, even on the weekends, because that is my deep work time. And I'm really intentional about how I spend my time because, again, there's not that much of it.
Yep.
So I do my crazy deep work then. I do my delegation later in the day when I'm a little bit fried, but I've set up systems. So again, I love, like, I'm a big Asana person, and I use Asana to even remind me to take my garbage out or to birthdays instead of putting it in my calendar, because it will push me in a way to like maximize my time, automate it again. So things get reminded you don't have that brain power. And then you can very easily delegate versus sending an email of what to do. I can assign stuff to members of my staff. I love SOPs. Personally and professionally, I was actually speaking with a EA agency the other day. I was like, this may sound psycho, but I even have down to how I like to grocery shop. Like where I live in the mountains, we don't have Instacart. So I hired a high school kid to help with grocery shopping. When I go, I buy too much. I don't stick to my list. So I send someone, yes, I pay them, but I save myself money and I save myself time there.
Yeah.
And then I even down to like, I have a photo of what I want the fridge to look like. So when they come back, they can unload it and I don't have to spend the time. And it's just how you can set up systems to set yourself up for success. Delegate it where you can, instead of doing it over and over, have those SOPs and systems in place. I love time hacking. It's so much fun.
Yeah. I mean, you are my kind of people. I'm all about that too. I agree. It's one thing to have somebody help you, even if you have Instacart, right? Then they have to get put away. And if you're not the one putting it away and it's not the right place, then you have to redo it all. So I love that you're even taking the extra step and writing those standard operating procedures for your house, because I mean, that's how everybody's going to get it the way that it needs to be the first time. I think our kids really thrive in that space too. My kids are 8, 10, and 12. If I ask them to do something like unload the groceries or put the dishes away, they don't know what to do. So they just do the first thing that comes to their mind to finish the task. And I learned this when I was asking my 10-year-old to unload the dishwasher. She's just putting crap all over the place.
Totally.
And when I said to her, this is where this goes, and this is where this goes, and we put labels so that she can remember.
Oh yeah.
She's all over it. Never have to ask her twice, right? It's amazing.
I have a friend who's an organizer, and as a gift, she helped me organize my kids' playroom. And I was like, we don't need labels on everything. And my kids are 6 and 8. And this is when they were, probably 2 and 4, 3 and 5. And she did picture labels on all of the bins. And I can tell you, my playroom stayed clean until basically they aged out of all of those. And now I need to do it again. But it was the most amazing thing because you know what to do and where things go. So, I mean, it sounds psycho, but honestly, it's so valuable. And setting yourself up once, you're set up for success moving forward.
Totally. You think about like preschool classrooms, they all have labels on everything.
Totally.
And the kids do it because they want to get it right. They want to do it correctly. And I think as a parent, you assume that your kid can't get it right. And you have to help them do it because they don't know any better. But I think they do know better once you tell them. They're happy to do it the right way. I think that's awesome. So you said something about Asana. I'm not familiar with that.
Oh my goodness. Asana is one of my favorite platforms I use.
It's going to change my life, isn't it?
Oh, it will. So it's a task manager. It's it's another subscription service software. And I do pay for the more premium version of it just because I use it for everything from managing my teams at work. I actually use it in a CRM fashion as well to honestly, it helps me stay on top of my networking and my follow-ups. And I use it for truly anything. So basically you can set up boards, set up projects. I have like a medical one, a kids one. I have them split between my marketing team, my product team, my design team. and you can create cards, multiple different list view, Kanban style, calendar, you can overlap. It allows you to kind of see how long it takes for like one thing to move to another phase. You can delegate tasks amongst, link out in the description to the, a standard operating procedure in a GDoc. It's truly, a lot of people are using Notion these days in a way that I use Asana. And I just like the interface with Asana better than Notion right now. But that is, it's the best to-do list manager ever. It's the best.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It sounds like a Trello or a
very
similar types of things. Okay, great.
Very similar to Trello, very similar to ClickUp. It's just the one that we went with.
Yeah, that's great. I love those types of tools too. I think they're really helpful in seeing your projects, regardless of what they are, the steps for them. I'm a big believer in that as well. We do that for 2 cents. Also, we have our onboarding checklist to make sure that we have everything set up. There's only 3 of us on the team, but it's amazing how much brain power you can spend just trying to remember what you forgot.
Well, I'll say, like, when I onboard people onto the team, or even, I'm fundraising at the moment. And so I like to have my workflow scheduled, and I don't want to remember to, like, each time I add a new contact in to schedule a follow-up in 4 weeks. So you can build out these workflows, and then it automatically, instead of adding a task, you just add a workflow, and it adds all the subtasks. Like when we create a party on Party Trick, there are 18 subtasks that come under, like, create a party. It's amazing because you're never going to miss one. So it allows you to have that, like, mental peace of mind, that space that something's got your back, and you're not, reinventing the wheel over and over again. Yeah.
Very cool. I love it. That's very clever. One of the things that is always on my mind is habits. So if I can get myself into a habit of something where I don't have to think about it, that's where I feel the most productive, right? Like you mentioned mornings. What areas of your life do you have on a habit that is worth repeating?
Oh, good question.
Because there's a lot of bad ones that we don't want to hear about, but.
Well, no, I mean, I would say habits and routine, and I probably use the word routine more. I'm very, again, I love the schedules that I set for myself. So I'm very much wake up. I will, this sounds funny. I'm definitely one of those, like, make your bed first thing in the morning, right? Set yourself up. And so it's part of my morning routine. Get up, I make my coffee, I drink water before, get onto my computer. I have a very set sequence and, like, this habit, because then I feel set up for success all day.
Yep.
If I oversleep or something goes awry, I feel like I've set myself up, like, not to succeed for the day. So, make the bed, coffee while it's going, do water, get on the computer. I tend to know that, like, it takes 20 minutes, so I can do some flow work first. So I kind of schedule it. I'm very big with that, the habits at nighttime as well, in terms of shower, bath, a little reading time, meditation, and bed. And it's it allows me to kind of not think, what am I going to do? When am I going to do this? I need exercise, and I have so much of it. I get my best ideas when I'm moving, so that gets incorporated, but not as it's structured. That's a little bit more flexible when it happens. So morning habits, evening habits, morning routine, evening routine, those are big ones. And then kind of in between is a mishmash based on the day.
Yeah. It's funny. I interview a lot of people, and one of the things most very successful people talk about is their morning routine and their evening routine. It is so commonplace to end and start your day in that way. And I know for me, I did not feel as efficient or as productive pre-morning routine. I mean, if I go back 5 years ago where I just stumbled out of bed and tried to figure out what to make the kids for breakfast, I was not as productive as I am today with my routines. So it's certainly, well, you're in good company.
Yeah. I would say the other thing to add to that, I don't know if you do this, but on Sunday evening, I actually have a task in Asana that reminds me to do this. I send my whole team kind of a note for the week, structure the goals so that the way, like, if Monday gets derailed, it's not too late. But I go through my whole planning process for the week on Sunday evening. Like, I don't get the Sunday scaries, and it's because I know that I have time and place for it. So I go through, I structure it, and I look at the week, kind of going back to some of your core, principles here. I look at, is there anything on my to-do list this week that I could automate? Like, I reevaluate over, is there anything on my schedule this week that I could eliminate?
Yeah.
And then I don't love doing that myself. So I send my assistant, hey, can you cancel that? And really get strategic about how I'm spending my time during the week, because it disappears really quickly. And if you're not intentional and don't take that time to look ahead, you're missing an opportunity to potentially eliminate, to potentially automate. And all of a sudden 2 months has gone by and be like, oh, we could have automated that. So setting aside that delegated time, that's really to be intentional about how you're structuring, how you're automating, how you're eliminating. Like, could I have someone else do this? Those are very standard practices that it's transformed my life.
Yeah, I love it. It sounds so simple when you hear it. And it really is. Like, all you need to do is take a step in the right direction. You don't have to do it all in one day. You don't have to put all this automation in play. But if you start deliberately spending time on, like you said, preparing your week just tonight, right? Whatever day you happen to be listening to this, look at the rest of your week and figure out what that might look like. What are the things you can get off your list? Every time I sit down to plan my week, there's at least 3 or 4 things that I said yes to that I say no to. I just turn it off and say, you know what? I'm not going to do that. We can move it on down the road, or we can just get rid of it altogether, because sometimes you overcommit yourself in those spaces. Well, Virginia, this is wonderful. I'd love it if you could share where the audience can find you. What's the best way to connect and continue the conversation?
Yeah, definitely. So find us on partytrick.com or on any of our socials. We're at partytrick on Insta, at partytrick _ on TikTok. And then my personal is Virginia Trafton. And that's on my virginiatrafton.com. So come find me, follow along. I love sharing some of my hacks along the way. And little tips and tricks. So would love to hear everyone else's as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Well, that wraps it up. Thank you so much for coming today. I'm so glad that you came. Please make sure that you go over to partytrick.com, and Virginia is going to give away 6 months of free membership to any Efficiency Bitch listeners. So when you go to partytrick.com, make sure you use the promo code EB, like Efficiency Bitch, EB, and you'll get 6 months for free. Thank you, Virginia, for giving that to our listeners. I appreciate it very much, and I know they do too. Please take a look at your phone or whatever you're listening to and make sure that you are subscribed to the Efficiency Bitch podcast. And until next time, I'm your host, Melissa Leone. See ya. Well, that wraps it up. Thank you so much for listening. If you're new around here, please be sure to leave us a review on any podcast platform you're listening to. And you can always reach out to me to let me know what topics you're interested in hearing about, or maybe telling me someone you think would be great for the show. Either way, I'd love to hear from you. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at EfficiencyB. Until next time, see ya.